Hello and welcome to The Hub on Vital MX, your one-stop shop for motocross news from around the world. And there's been a lot of news from Europe this week, which you may have missed because of time differences and whatnot. So let's jump into that to make sure that you are completely up to date. First of all, Liam Everts has been confirmed as a Nestaan Husqvarna Factory Racing rider for 2025 and beyond. Everts will sit next to Kayde Wolf on the World Championship winning team, and in fact, within the Husqvarna announcement, it was subtly mentioned that Kayde Wolf has committed to the MX2 class for another year, which means that he will defend his number one plate. So a two-man attack for Husqvarna in MX2 next season. Not only has Everts changed his bike and his look, he's also got a new number. Yes, he has ditched the number 72 that has been attached to the Everts name for so long in favour of the number 26. After his crushing injury in China in September, where he lost feeling in his limbs for a brief moment, eventually he of course had successful surgery and will make a full recovery, he felt as though this was the right time to change just about everything in his program, as he explains in this quote. "We'll see how it all goes with me coming back from injury, but we'll take it step by step and see what the speed is like once I am back on the bike. This opportunity also felt like the perfect time to change my race number. New team, new colours, new number. After the accident, a lot changed, and now it felt like the right time to start something of my own. My family has been super supportive. It feels like an exciting, fresh chapter in my career." Everts has of course left Red Bull KTM Factory Racing, and his ride there has been filled by Marc-Antoine Rossi, who has moved over from Red Bull GASGAS Factory Racing. A lot of changes in the PIERER Mobility Group stable. Rossi debuted in the MX2 class this year on a GASGAS, as mentioned, and he only made it to the 8th round before he had to withdraw for ACL surgery. It was quite a nasty ACL injury that he sustained, so he's been out for so much of this year, although he is actually now back on the bike. Rossi joins KTM, where he will sit alongside Andrea Adamo and Jeffrey Hurlings. That will be the Red Bull KTM Factory Racing team. Of course, there could be some confusion because there is also Red Bull KTM Factory Racing de Carli, which is where Lucas Koenen, Simon Lagenfelder and Sascha Koenen will be. It will all look very similar, but in fact, two separate teams in different countries. Rossi at Red Bull KTM Factory Racing will be under the watchful eye of Joel Smets, who actually sees a lot of potential in the Frenchman. For many years, France has had this reputation of bringing up young, skilled riders, and Marc-Antoine Rossi can be added to this list, Smets said. He is only 18, but has already shown great potential in EMX 125 and EMX 250. He then displayed bright flashes of speed and strength this year. Marc-Antoine is still so young and reminds me a lot of Tom Vial. He not only has the same number, but he has that same laid-back attitude, which camouflages a real ambition to work and to achieve. He is a good listener and is very keen to learn. He has time to grow, and we do not want to rush. We believe he has a great future. So with Everts at Husqvarna and Rossi at KTM, the PIERER Mobility Group now has their MXGP rider lineup set, so there won't be any more news out of those teams. In more PIERER Mobility Group news though, they did lose Valerio Lata, who has been on an Austrian bike for so much of his career, in fact, since he started riding. Lata has joined HRC, who have shown a renewed interest in MX2. Lata will of course be the second MX2 rider alongside Ferruccio Zanchi. In an official statement, the HRC executive director in Japan said, "Signing Valerio is another important step for Team HRC because it shows that we are building and improving our Honda CRF 250R program. Last season, Ferruccio Zanchi did a great job, finishing in the top 10 of the MX2 Championship, and now by bringing in Valerio, we want to have more good finishes and more possibilities of showing the strength of the CRF 250R. Valerio has had a lot of success as a younger rider, winning some very impressive titles and races, and it will be exciting to see what he can achieve with the backing of Team HRC." You may remember that Lata, who appeared in a couple of MX2 races as a wildcard this year, actually finished on the podium at his home Grand Prix in Majora. So he's already got one trophy in his cabinet and he hasn't even started his MX2 career yet. Quite impressive and quite the pickup for Team HRC, who have not won in the MX2 class since the Grand Prix of Indonesia in 2018, some 2,000 days ago. It's been quite a while for the CRF 250R. In more domestic news, late last week it was announced that Tommy Searle will spearhead the Triumph effort within the United Kingdom in 2025. The Dirt Store team that he rode for this year on Kawasaki has switched to Triumph with Tommy, Joel Rizzi on a 450, so the 450 will be active in different national championships. Of course, we know that Alvin Usland will race the Triumph 450 in Sweden, and then Dirt Store Triumph will also have young Billy Askew on the team, who will also compete in EMX 250. Joel Rizzi will also jump across to Europe for wildcard appearances as well. So Triumph is really strengthening its presence in all corners of the globe after a very successful introduction in 2024. What lies ahead? Well, we have Paris, and then we have a couple of World Supercross rounds coming up, as well as the WSX Open. Speaking of World Supercross, the wildcards for the Australian Grand Prix have been confirmed as Caden Minnear, Kyle Webster, Nathan Crawford and Reed Taylor. No surprises there. 4 promising Australians who belong on the starting line and will add something to the programme. So that's the Australian field for WSX set as well. Closer than that is Paris, which will take place this weekend with Jet Lawrence, Hunter Lawrence, Malcolm Stewart, Cooper Webb and Dylan Ferrandis, to name but a few. Joe Shimoda and Tom Vial will compete in the SX2 class as well. You can actually watch that race on MXGP TV, so there's no shortage of race action in this cold month of November. I think that's all for this week. Thank you for listening and watching to The Hub, and we will see you next week for another recap of all that has happened in the world of motocross.